everybody, Wolfang here. Today's Tuesday, October the 28th. A few more days till Halloween. Hope the weather's nice for the kids at least. We're supposed to have rain tomorrow and Thursday, I guess. It sucks when you trick or treat when it's raining. I did it when I was a kid. It's like, we're getting out there to get free candy. I don't care. It was fun. So I was at the hospital this morning. They took my wife off the sedation. She's breathing okay on her own. Still hooked up to all kinds of machines. The only issue they're having right now is trying to get her blood pressure stable. It's real low right now. So, and after I left the hospital, I went to work to do the paperwork for FMLA stuff. And I did some stuff around the apartment here. You know what? I'll do a video. So I did find an article about the scarecrow. So let me share that and see how many words I can screw up. It says how scarecrows went from ancient magic to fall horror fodder. I say fodder. Sounds like your fodder. I saw your fodder the other day. For most Americans, scarecrows are synonyms with autumn. They pop up in corn mazes and crop fields at harvest festivals, on hay bales and grocery store displays, and as set dressing, or increasingly as villains in fall-flavored horror films. But for all their ubiquity, agriculture scientist Rebecca Brown reflects, I don't think I've ever seen a commercial farm that used a scarecrow with the intent of scaring birds. If they've got one, it's a seasonal decoration. If scarecrows were used to ward off birds, adds James P. Larry, a historian and folklorist focused on rural Midwestern life, they would be constructed in spring and serve their purpose through summer, a fact that makes the scarecrow's association with autumn a bit odd. Were scarecrows ever an effective bird scaring tool? If so, when and why did they fall out of use? And how did they go from agriculture tech to essential autumn decor? The ancient global origins of scarecrows. It's surprisingly hard to find answers to these questions. There has not been a lot of research on these figures, Leary explains. I don't know of anyone who is an authority on scarecrows. Ooh, there would be a first. But we do know that seed and grub-eating birds have always been a nuisance for farmers. In America alone, birds still cause well over 100 million in crop damage every year. Wow. Across the globe, from as far back as ancient Egypt to the modern day, records suggest that farmers have put children to work in stocking the fields with sticks to scare away these avian pests. They seem to have more fun than any financial return from work, writes Egyptologist Wala Mahan Abdigihimini. I have no idea how to say his last. Abdelakum, I don't know. In a recent review of an ancient Egyptian artwork depicting bird scarers. Generally, children enjoy making noise and running, so the task of scaring and chasing birds fell neatly into their purview. I could see kids, hell yeah, I'll go out there. But any ample supply of kids wasn't always available for the task. So farming communities from Europe to New Guinea seamlessly, independently developed traditions of erecting scarecrow-like figures in their fields as well. Some were humanoid and some were abstract. From prehistory to the modern era, they were almost all made out of simple materials such as wood, cloth, and scraps like old hay, and animal bones. And they all were meant to ward off those pesky birds. Mainly, early scarecrows seem to be represent fertility deities, like the superphallic wood statues of the Greco-Roman fertility god Priapus, I guess, or scary spirits like the tattered wooden and clothed goblin effigies set up in medieval Germanic communities. So these figures may reflect local beliefs in an invocation of protective supernatural powers. But most of these proto scarecrows were clearly also meant to mimic humans, scaring birds away with their presence and occasionally signs of motion, as their loose limbs or tattered clothing blew in the wind. As folk belief in supernatural protection slowly faded over the centuries, this physical protection slowly became the scarecrow's main utility. Still, some old names for scarecrow, like Boogle, also the name for the folkloric Scots spirit, or Botsman, also the name of German boogeyman, reflect their roots in folk magic and spirit belief. Why scarecrows rarely work for a long time. Birds probably don't look at scarecrows and think, oh crap, a human. But most are wary of new things, says avian behavior expert Susan G. Friedman, which is why many species will keep their distance from a newly erected scarecrow. However, they'll only avoid a few acres around that scarecrow and quickly learn that the new floppy field fixture isn't actually a threat. Say that 3 times real fast. Floppy field fixture. A bird has its a bird that has a lifetime of experience with novelty will probably desensitize to the scarecrow faster, Friedman explains. Often, it only takes one bold bird to pave the way for the others to follow in the discovery that the scarecrows are a unique source of environmental enrichment, she says, not a threat. Oh, have you hugged your scarecrow today? As far as back as 1930s, American farmers tried hooking up speakers up to their scarecrows to add scarier, more unpredictable stimuli. Toward the end of the 20th century, agriculture scientists also experimented with propulsion systems, propulsion, that made scarecrows pop up and down randomly. Movement and noise can increase the effectiveness, says bird behavior specialist Julia Ponder. But even the most attentive scarecrow solutions only seem to buy a few extra bird-free days. Scarecrows get replaced with fancier tech. With the rise of industrial farming in the mid-20th century, farmers slowly turned their focus towards high-tech approaches that seem to offer better protection for ever-larging fields, like chemical deterrents or nesting barriers. In her agricultural research, Brown works on laser beam turrets, which she calls laser scarecrows. These turrets seem to do a good job deterring light-sensitive birds from crop fields. Conversely, scarecrows farmers built from fabric scraps are functionally free. The low cost and tradition explain why some small farmers in resource-poor areas still use scarecrows. But in America, at least, even hobby farmers and home gardeners have largely shifted away from scarecrows to more behavior-informed tactics, like hanging lines of old dangling CDs or wavy mylar tape, to bounce rays of light at weary birds. Larry, who tracks folk practices in his hometown of Rice Lake, Wisconsin, has noted these shifts. When he was young, he says, some local farmers and garden keepers still used scarecrows, but over the years it became rare to see one. Recycled aluminum pie plates strung together and suspended have become much more common. And yeah, I was going to bring that up with about the aluminum pie plates. We had a farmland. We'd go through the woods, and it was corn and stuff. But I remember that farmer had the aluminum pie plates hanging. So, but I don't know. That would, as a kid though, and you got a big family, and say your crops or whatever, your job for today is go out there and keep the birds out of the garden. I can see kids running around, especially in a cornfield. If you've ever run through a cornfield, or just, I mean, a big one too, it's pretty cool. I think it is. Anyway, this is Wolfgang. Hope everybody has a great afternoon. Yeah, it is. It's only, what time is it? 10 after 2. Wow. I'd be at work right now. But I am going to go back to work tomorrow to see how that goes. But thanks for listening about my scarecrows, or your scarecrows. Have you hugged a scarecrow today? This is Wolfgang. Blessed be, stay safe, and I'll bullshit with y'all later. Bye.